Okay, John.
All right, so tonight is, this is the Ashburnham website committee meeting for Monday, November 23rd. We've got an official start time of 6:03. Mary Beth Jansen's is not here tonight, so I'm going to be taking the minutes. So give me a second to get my screens organized here so I get the typing going. We've got okay, in attendance, we've got Donna Burton, TJ Kelly, and John Mulhall. All right. So let's start. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, great. We don't have any meeting minutes. Mary Beth apologized. I guess this new job has her hopping. So we'll have to push that till next week and include the meetings from tonight. We'll modify the agenda for next week right now so that we're ready to go. All right, so that gets us down to the town department committee input received so far. I'll admit that I started my emails and I built it and then something happened, so I never sent it to the few people that I had to send it to. I have received, and I just emailed to everybody on our committee here, a response we got from Rebecca Sinclair from Cultural Council. And I'll just go over the finer points of that real quick. And I lost it again. There it is. So she jumped on, said, hopefully I didn't miss the deadline. Hoping it's not too late. Haha. She says, warning, I may get a little overboard with the number of detailed notes. And I'm thinking no such thing. So she went on to give us this whole nice long thing about, her overall suggestions and thoughts, and down to layout for the whole thing. Like this is pretty detailed and pretty good for how the whole website is laid out, not just her part. So I think that was really good of her. I think that's what I'm looking at, not just that she just grabbed all the headers from all the websites and just put them in a hierarchy here. But anyway, so we did get that. TJ, have you had a chance to send yours out yet?
This is the one to Jan?
Yeah.
I have not. Based on discussing with you today, I wanted to review that and make sure I was getting it right. I do think it's important to try to maintain some consistency if we can.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has to be verbatim, but I don't want to be wildly off topic. So I just got your reply and read through it, but I was finishing up my work day, so I haven't done that yet.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I figured if we just send out, kind of say it more directly to the person. Hey, Jan, like if I have to send one to advisory, hi, Ron, hope you're doing well. And then just put the body of what we already sent. That's what I was planning on doing, and then see if he wants to talk on the phone, just to keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Donna, have you had a chance to poke your head in anybody's office? And
I have spoken to land use.
Okay.
She's aware of what we want her to do, to look over everything, to give input. She also said she received the message from Mary, the original email, and I said, well, you really got to get on it and tell us what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other girls, like Michelle, and they're just so busy receiving taxes, treasurer's office, and we're short staffed right now with one of the girls being out. So I'm talking, but I think it's going in one ear and out the other, basically. Because I'd like to see a little bit more, with the treasurer input too.
Right.
Yeah. Because she needs stuff on her page. She really, needs information out there. So when I can get her I'm gonna have her write something up, even if she has to take homework home, you know?
Donna says, anyone else having trouble getting into the meeting? I will forward her tonight's meeting.
Yeah, I went into one that was on the calendar event and it said the wrong date and such, and I said, I wonder if I have the wrong link, so I grabbed it from the email. So it's possible she did the
Yep.
same thing. And if that's the case, it's likely my fault for putting that link into the event, throwing
Did
people
you
off the
check
trail.
her email? When I sent the link out, I sent it out in the email.
Yeah, I don't know where she's grabbing it from. I'll send it right now.
I'll update the meeting, calendar invite, by the way, to take out the confusing one.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did speak to Gary Howland.
Oh,
Yeah. Since him and Lorraine are like agricultural and they do the agricultural council, I guess, Gary does. And he said, that he'd think about things and send something. I said, that'd be wonderful, because I see him
Okay.
walking his dog.
oh
And,
yeah.
Yeah. There
Okay.
she is. There's Donna.
Got it.
There you are.
Welcome.
Gee whiz, that's a challenge.
Hmm.
And just right off the bat, I wasn't able to get in touch with Glenn Hathaway. I've been out straight all week with work.
Yep.
So,
You're in good company.
it's been a long week. But
Well, it's a
nice
short
job
week.
there.
Everybody's got to cram in those 5 days into this 3.
Well, I'm off on Wednesday, so I've got like 2 stinking days this week to do everything. So it's kind of a pain in the neck. But it's Thanksgiving, so I can't say anything.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Thanks, TJ. Got that one too. I keep on getting this set up as a message for it. Okay, here's the new one. Because the old one keeps on coming up that it's supposed to be at 9 o'clock, and Zoom gets a little bit cranky about that. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, I'm good to go.
All right, great.
Okay.
So we just went through and we were exactly where you jumped into the right place. We had
Okay.
just, we don't have any minutes. Mary Beth couldn't make the meeting tonight.
Okay.
So we were just talking about the status and where we are. So TJ and I both have to send ours out. Donna's got a little bit of a response from at least conversation from land use, but it's tough getting people's attention in town hall. So, and we got a response from Rebecca Sinclair on Cultural Council,
Yeah.
which was great. And it was fairly detailed and I think exactly what we want. I haven't actually word for word read it yet. I just kind of skimmed it just to see what she had chatted about in there. So, so that's kind of where we're at.
Cool.
Donna, what do you think? I'm concerned that we're not going to get any response from everybody in town hall because it's the same thing that you're always asking them and they're not going to respond to you.
Right.
Maybe next week after Thanksgiving goes through, maybe we do ask Brian to,
Talk
do
to
us a favor
everybody.
and just encourage folks to please respond with something. Give us something. It doesn't have to be
Right.
long. Doesn't have to be detailed. Take 5 minutes, think about it while you're eating lunch and just let us know.
Or go look at other towns' websites, see what you like about them and give us some feedback.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
That,
actually, that's probably one of the better things too.
That strikes me as one of our strongest recommendations, potentially anyway, that the process of updating and submitting information from departments needs to become more formalized and more, mandatory, so that information is not out of date and it's not inaccurate and all that stuff. That's a process change, not necessarily a technology change.
Right.
True.
So that would be, I think that's something we should put on our list. The fact that it's difficult for us is only, a symptom of the problem, right?
Well, that's interesting because while we were talking last week, it's interesting because I have to deal with this because I'm trying to create a portal product at work. We have our own issues. is, believe it or not, people who do portals don't even know what to go into a portal. And at the same time, of course, my husband works for a different company, and he's trying to get them to, have a responsive online presence. And so when I got off the call last week, he was sitting downstairs and he said, I was listening to that. And he said, I'm going to ask you the same question you always talk about. He said, who are you planning on doing all of this work? Because nobody is going to do the work that you want them to do unless you have somebody who's going to actually drive the web work within the town hall. And that can't be you, Donna. That
No,
can't be you. You got a job.
yeah,
Okay. Then whatever we do is always going to be, like begging for crumbs from each one of the people, each one of the individuals that we require information from. So when I was because I was the president of the MJPA, we had a web chair, and he actually had web experience, and he wouldn't even go out and get information to go online. So we really needed to be vigilant, but that's a question that we need to push back to the Board of Selectmen and to the town. If we are to have this wonderful website, even if we have the ideal website in a portal and we can do this, who is going to do this? And that's my question back to all of us is, are we prepared to push back to the town of Ashburnham and say, if you want to have the source of all knowledge for Ashburnham on the web, how much are you willing to ante up to have this work done? Because it doesn't come free, period. And that's a question they need to be able to answer. I mean, we can't get the roads fixed. Are they really willing to have that kind of an investment into really their future? Because that's what we're talking about. Because long term, Ashburnham will see a return on their overall investment, and not just in IT, but in their overall business processes for the town, if everything is consolidated in one place. But they're not going to see that right away. And we have a lot of people in town who don't like to spend any money on anything. So how are we going to go back to them and say, it's going to cost you money to get this done? Are you planning on paying for it? Because I don't want to go down at, well, we're going to pay for salt and get stuck in that argument.
I was kind of thinking about the similar thing, especially what you started with who's going to be soliciting this information from within town hall. And that's actually what I was going to talk about during our other discussion tonight, is that, we spent a lot of time last week talking about, the words are escaping me now, but we were talking about the message board,
Right. The portal. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone goes there and we've got all the information, and we talk a little bit about how we don't have a hometown newspaper and all that kind of stuff. So we have to figure out with our plan, I think we need to include how we're going to feed this front page news section.
Yep.
And I had a couple of thoughts. One is, obviously keep the stuff we have on there now. Maybe we start talking about opening it up to other in-town entities, and this gets a little weird, and we have to have a discussion really with Brian and legal, and I hate to bring it there, but it will end up there, is that, what if Ashburnham Conservation Trust wants to put something up there as a town notification?
they can.
They can. Now, when Heather, when the previous town administrator was here, she was uncomfortable with some of that, because then what if there's an unsavory group that wants to put something up and you said yes to one, you have to say yes to the other? I don't subscribe to that necessarily, because I don't think we're going to run into that. And I think we do tell them no, and then we deal with it afterwards, if that ever were to happen. But
well, John, just interrupt just a minute, please.
Sure. Yeah.
I do postings for the Gardner Museum.
Okay, so we're already doing it.
When
so
they have
great.
events, they send it to me and I put it up.
Perfect. And that's what I think we should be doing. I think that's what this, in my mind, that's what I think this should be.
Yeah, because they're trying to reach business, basically. They're trying to get people to go
Right.
to the museum, so why not post it?
Right.
And Donna, it's a nonprofit, right?
Correct.
Gardner Museum is a nonprofit. So
Yeah.
as long as what you're posting for is nonprofit, they're not profiting off of this. They're trying to engage with the public. But
Right.
here's a place where long term, because we do not have a newspaper, at some point, if there were other entities in town that wanted to post, you could actually have a classified ads section. You'd have to talk to legal about this. But if it was for a for-profit entity, as long as it passed editorial and legal muster, you could actually make money on it. You could actually, it's just like Google Ads. You don't think they make money on a lot of that stuff, but they do make money on Google Ads. Same way with Facebook. Facebook sells advertising. They also sell you, but they actually sell advertising space. And it's about time people started looking at how do you monetize the real estate on that screen? And if you have 99% of the screen for nonprofit, and you monetize 1% of the screen for income producing, over a year, that might pay for basically for the maintenance and upkeep of something. You need to figure out what that percentage is. But it's about time we started figuring out how to do this for the FBO Ashburnham, as opposed to, well, we're only social. Well, no, it isn't. I mean, nothing gets done for free. I had at the end, I mean, there were only 500 of us, but I finally, we had to come to grips with the fact that this costs money. Every year it costs money. Good, if you want to pay your dues, here's what you get for your dues. Oh, and by the way, it's going to cost this much for the website. And if you want any more functionality on the website, it's going to cost us this much more. Do you want to pay for it or not? Whoa, we advertise a bit. Well, if this is the only source of advertising you have, you might want to pay for it because Google or your own website is going to cost you that much more.
Yeah.
So it might be time that we start, having a come to Jesus meeting with a lot of people who think this is all freeware. It's not. It is not.
Well,
So-
what I would like to propose is maybe, economically, some of the businesses in town
Hello.
put
Yeah.
their names and links to their websites up on
Yes.
ours.
They can link it. They can link out from our webpage.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. They can pay for that link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's about time to do that. I mean, if we have it, and it doesn't have to be just in Ashburnham. So but this is how you go back to building a community newspaper. Newspapers didn't run for free. You had advertising. In fact, the news hole in the standard advertising in a standard newspaper was 20%. 80% of a newspaper was advertising. That was the standard hole. It's about time we started getting back to thinking, this is not free, and start realizing it. And you can start gradually and building it up, but we need to be able to have that flexibility to figure out how to monetize all that stinking space on the page that right now is all free.
Does anybody know if there's other communities that are doing that?
I don't know. I can ask some of my friends in the business if
Yeah.
they're, because I've got a guy who manages my website at work. He manages a lot of websites. Let me ask him. I'll take that as an action item.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, monetizing webs. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't, I have the guy that worked for MJPA, but he did just nonprofits. But the guy that I have who manages my website, he does commercial sites. So let me ask him.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, perfect.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but we
Thank you.
need to check into municipal.
I will
Yeah,
ask him about that one too.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely with the municipal, and and it's, my personal opinion is that it would just come down to a legal thing. There's certain things that towns can't do. Like
Yep.
we can't own a business as a town, but
Nope.
that's not to say we can't recoup costs.
There you
So
go.
wherever that line is, I'd love to have our toes on it.
I'd like to find out what we can do legally. How do we structure it so that we can actually recoup this, so that we end up being net positive as opposed to net negative?
Mm.
Ugh.
That would be a first
Wouldn't
for
that be
anybody
nice?
in town.
Wouldn't that be nice to finally say, oh, and by the way, we're in the black.
Right. Right.
What a happy
Right.
thought. Such a
Yeah.
happy thought. I know.
Yeah.
It just concerned me when he said that, because I thought, oh, heck, you're right. We can't do it this way. We need to figure out how to do this, and not just our town. I mean, if we create the right model, we can actually, create a model that we can actually cookie cutter and show to other small towns. It's not just us. So we should create a proto model for us, and then help market that model for other towns, because no small towns can do this on their own. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Awesome.
As far as populating with town stuff,
Yeah.
there's, we are getting the updates, and Donna, you're posting the updates that you're getting.
When I
But
get
I'm
'em.
wondering what I'm,
Yeah.
obviously it's pulling teeth with some people, and I'm wondering if there's periodic things that happen that we could build into the workflow, like when dog licenses go out. I know that one gets sent out through the email and gets posted. But I'm wondering if there's other things that are happening in town periodically that could be, and it would take some culture change, but part of the thing is, hey, when tax bills are getting ready to go out, all the envelopes show up and the paper and everything gets stuffed and the addresses get printed and the website gets posted. And
Yep.
it's just one of the things, every time, and we've talked about this before, I grip my teeth. Every time DPW flushes a hydrant, you put out your hydrant flushing signs, you get a detail if you need it, you get out your tool and you send you guys out in the truck and you post on the website.
Yep.
And it's part of the workflow. This is going to have to be something that is embraced, or for lack of a better word, shoved down people's throats if they don't want to embrace it. But I think that will also help give us some content that's going to be worth checking out, and will hopefully, I won't say it's going to drive people to, but will be a reason for people to come and look at the website and utilize some of the things that we've worked hard to deliver to them. But it's comes down to participation, and hopefully after a little bit, it's going to be kicking and screaming at first, but I'm really hoping that after a little while, the folks, DPW, I'll just pick on them, they'll say, hey, this is actually really great, because now we don't have to get 15 phone calls about why is my water dirty. Oh, because on the website it says we're hydrant flushing in South Ashburnham today.
Well, that would be good.
Yeah. And it's gonna, I think if we need to sell it to anybody, we're gonna sell it as, you're gonna get fewer phone calls and have less headaches if you notify people what's going on, so that when they get the tax bill, oh yeah, what is this tax bill? Because, oh yeah, the whole town got their tax bills. That's what it is.
I think that's a great idea. But the
Yeah.
other thing is, they need to understand it shouldn't be a huge process.
No.
The process should be as easy as sending a decent text message back to town hall, that update, that here it is, like a 2-3
Right.
sentence update.
Mhm.
That's all that needs to go in. You do not need to send a giant email.
Nope.
Nobody wants to read it.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
TLDR. I don't care. I don't need. All I need to know what day and approximately what time you're going to flush the hydrants and where. And you know what? Create yourself a little form. The first time you have to build it with 3 lines. The second time you just update the date,
Right.
the time, and the place.
Right. It's the first one, setting the format
Right.
correctly, getting it out, and after that,
Right.
it's updating it.
Yeah.
Anything that's a process, dog licenses, anything else,
Mhm.
rabies shots. It's time for the you got to have that. Anything that's a standard process, there should be a standard process format. Off it goes, and it
Right.
should be that easy.
Yeah.
I think we try to make things too difficult to make it look hard. We
Yeah.
need to make it look easy.
Right. And that's the only way that people are going to want to participate. If they think this is going to be a pain in the butt, they're not going to want to do it. And I don't blame anybody. It does. It's extra work. It's extra stuff.
That's true.
So let's just make it dead simple.
I agree 100%.
Yep. I was going to say something else that's gone, but that's okay. Along these lines. Yeah, well, whatever. Not important. Oh, that's what it was. So as far as getting our responses back, I think at the end of this, we'll, I don't know if anybody wants to bet money on what percentage of a response we're going to get from people, even when we hound them directly. But I think that it's going to end up coming down to this committee to take a look at some of the internal websites that aren't well populated. Like Donna, you mentioned Treasurer, is take a look on other towns, see what other towns are doing. So if you're not getting a response or any cooperation, we're going to have to do it, because I don't want this to be like, well, we didn't hear from them, so they don't get an update. No, everyone's
That's
getting
how
an
I
update.
originally built the assessors page. I went to Lemonster's and I liked some of the things that was there. So I grabbed it, tweaked it, put it on ours.
Yep. I think we'll end up there with quite a bit of this, unfortunately, but I don't know. Hopefully at the end of it, the people that care will take a look and think we did a good job, and the people who don't care won't look and won't say anything.
Did you get any input from the selectmen themselves to,
No.
on the original email?
Nope.
No.
Haven't heard anything from them. I think they're just happy that we're working on it, not them. So.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Okay. Does anybody else have anything about the notification panel? Anything on the other input? Anything else we want to talk about tonight? I think we all still have a handful of to-dos.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Short week this week.
Okay.
Are we gonna skip next Monday or?
Well, that's a good question. Do we think that we're going to have any? Why don't we, Donna, how about this? Why don't we post it? And then let's see if we don't have anything really, unless you guys feel differently, I'm kind of thinking if we don't have anything new to talk about, let's just kick it a week. But let's post it just in case we all of a sudden hear back from everybody on Friday morning when the turkey's digesting and everyone decides to respond.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know how much time I'll have. I'm only working tomorrow. Then I'm
Yeah,
off the
me
rest of the
too.
week.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do tomorrow, but otherwise I'm off the rest of the week.
All right, good for you.
Yeah.
All right. Then Donna, I'll send you this. I'll send you this right now to post for Monday. And then if you guys don't mind a last minute call, we can just cancel it if nobody's has any updates. I love talking to you guys, but I don't think we need to talk just for the sake of it.
That'll work. No
Yeah.
problem.
All right. Great. Excellent. So actually, let me put that in that we discussed that one. Okay. All right, great. So are we good? Everyone's good?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right, great. Then I'll accept one more motion tonight.
I move to
right.
adjourn.
Second.
Donna, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. Meeting adjourned 6:32.
Okay.
All right, folks.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, everybody have a great Thanksgiving.
Yes. Happy
Thank you. You
Thanksgiving to
too.
all.
All right, make sure to eat too much turkey.
Oh, yeah.
All right, good night.
Thanks, everyone.
night.
Bye.